Hey, hello. I am Jaime Elizondo from Real Wealth Ranching, where our goal is to help you achieve maximum productivity while you improve your land the fastest. Today, I am going to talk about unintended consequences of our actions and decisions. Every action we make has a reaction, and every decision we take has a consequence. The same happens when we do not act or we choose not to make a decision. Not taking a decision or not acting is in itself of our choosing. So what does this have to do with raising livestock and managing our grasses? When we make correct actions and take correct decisions, we will be rewarded. And when we take the incorrect decisions, we will pay the consequences. The implications and effect on our grass health and vigor of our management will be immediate. Medium term and long term, the implications and effect in our genetics, thriftiness, resiliency, hardiness, and profitability will also have consequences that are immediate, medium term, and long term. If you know of someone that can benefit from listening to my podcast, please share the link with them. Thank you very much. Okay, back to the consequences of our decisions on grass management. We all know the famous experiment done by Kreider in 1950, cutting grass plants frequently and low, then measuring the stoppage of root growth that happened with this mismanagement. Today, we know that type of cutting repeatedly and frequently is the exact definition of overgrazing, which weakens the roots of our best or desirable species. The problem was not the faulty experiment, but the faulty conclusions they arrived at. They concluded that those results indicated that a plant should not be grazed more than half of its volume. But they forgot to tell the animals, the livestock, that. Now, I understand that this was very long ago and they did not have the knowledge or tools we now have for their time and age. Even though their recommendations were impossible to implement, it was the best they could do. So for continuous grazing on rangeland at a low stocking rate with no electric fences on large to very large paddocks, that was the best they could do. But now, 2023, we have electric fences, much smaller paddocks, we have better knowledge, and we know that we must avoid overgrazing, even at very high stocking rates required for higher productivity. So why do most grazing teachers still refer to that false experiment done over 72 years ago? Is there no creativity there? Why do they still want to not take more than half the plant on each grazing? We now know that taking only half of the plant per grazing ensures that our herd will need to return to that paddock 2 or 3 times faster than if they took most of the plant and most of the species, as we know that when we allow our livestock to select, they will only consume the best species, taking them down to the ground while leaving the least desirable species untouched. This means they need to return faster. And we must remember that returning too fast to regraze an individual plant is the definition of overgrazing. So they are proposing a grazing program that promotes overgrazing or greatly reduces the stocking rate, and this affects profits and productivity. Both of these consequences of a wrong observation are very bad for our environment. We must be better. We must follow nature and not faulty or outdated experiments. By implementing the Total Grazing Program online course, we avoid overgrazing, even at very high stocking rates, while we create much more humus by stockpiling in area and alternating the stockpile areas every year. Eliminating or avoiding overgrazing has its own advantages. It creates deeper and stronger roots in our desirable species, much higher forest production per acre per year, higher energy reserves, and better leaf-to-stem ratio in our best species, having a drought reserve in area for the difficult season, a much higher stocking rate, much higher forage productivity, creates more humus per acre per year, and greatly reduces or eliminates soil erosion. Now let's consider what happened on the genetics part of our livestock. Geneticists started to select for maximum individual max performance, which has proven it has negative consequences in regards to grass management and the environment being degraded. Selecting for maximum individual animal performance, like maximum daily gain, maximum weaning weight, maximum yearling weight, means a larger animal with late maturity and a cow that gives too much milk to maintain productivity on grass only with no costly inputs. The result is an animal that is less hardy, requires pampering, and has low real-life fertility. And as real-life fertility determines the profitability of a female, this has dire consequences on the livestock producer that follows these trends for maximum performance of the individual. What is needed are genetics that can do well with minimum inputs and managed in such a way that they are used to improve the soil and grass on which they graze. This results in much higher productivity and profits per ranch or farm per year, which is how this must be measured. I covered this very important aspect of the equation in the Adapted Genetics Selection Guidelines online course. In the course, I explain how we can use simple guidelines to select without contradicting nature, which ensures that our animals will be hardier, resilient, low maintenance, resistant, and with high real-life fertility. Conclusion and recap. Number one, every action has a reaction and every decision has its consequences. 2, not taking a decision is in itself a decision. 3, the faulty grazing programs that most people follow come from a faulty experiment done in 1950, which concluded that it was best to only graze half of the plant. They forgot to train livestock to do that, as livestock take down to the ground the best species and reject the rest, resulting in overgrazing of the best species and very low stocking rates compared to potential. 4, to avoid overgrazing, even at very high stocking rates needed for best productivity, we need to follow nature with the total grazing program. 5, livestock genetics have also taken a big hit where the resistance, hardiness, and real-life fertility have been diluted with high individual animal performance genes. This has given us animals that do not perform as they used to when in a real-life low input situation, they cannot perform. 6, we need to go back to the basics and select our livestock without contradicting nature with simple selection guidelines. But first, we need to understand how nature selects. 7, the online Adapted Genetics and Selection Guidance course shows you exactly why modern genetics are at fault to improve your per acre productivity and how to select according to nature. 8, by implementing the total grazing program with adapted genetics selected correctly, your productivity will be greatly enhanced and your profits will increase while your costs will go down. 9, this way, your land will continually improve every year that you continue to apply these programs that rely on low-cost biological methods imitating nature. 10, never stop questioning and learning. Your livelihood is at stake. Well, I hope you like this podcast and you can put it into practice. Thank you, and until next time. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube, or join us for the weekly email at www.rwranching.com/join. Have a great day.